No, in the beginning, no, because I was in a complete state of shock. But as time started to progress, like now, so it's been like 8 months, right, since my mom passed. Within the 6th to 7th month, when I would be at work and my patients would ask me for anything, I would give quick answers. Not really. Normally, I'm the type of nurse where if you're my patient, I'm talking to you. I'm like, hey, how are you doing? How's your day? This, that, and the third. Do you need anything else? What can I do for you? How can I help you? This, that, and the third, right? Normally, that's typically how I am. After my mom died, I'm in and out of the room. I'm giving you quick answers. Doctors call me because, we get the Spectral link. I'm like, what? It was just a lot, right? But I was in, or still am in, my anger form. Or with friends and stuff, if you're asking me a stupid question, I'm gonna say you're asking me a stupid question. Like I'm going to say it. Like before, I will hold my tongue. Now I'm telling you, you're asking me a stupid question. Don't ask me that question again. Ask me something that makes sense. Ask me something that has to do with what's going on right now. Ask me something that I can help you with. Like, very straight to the point now. I realize that for myself. Very straight to the point now. But that's me. When it came to certain family members, they shut off completely. But I know it's their form of grieving. You would have a hard time finding them. A hard time getting them back to respond to you. In some cases, you know who to speak to get the message across, because everybody knows that person, when it comes to grieving, they have a very hard time with death. That's why it's very good to know how your family members are, because if this is a first death for them and you don't know how their behavior is when it comes to grief, you're going to take it personal. But with me and the rest of my family, like certain family members, you don't take it personally. You just like, okay, this person just needs time, right? And that's what I had to understand with certain family members. And eventually, they come around. They'll be like, hey, Dane, because everybody calls me Dane. They'll be like, hey, Dane, I just needed a moment to like really process what happened to your mom. We were best friends. And don't take it personal. Everybody grieves differently, right? But to some people, that person might be a monster in that moment, where really that person's just really trying to grieve. Now, you will have your typical, what kind of monster are you, with some other people. What does that mean? When I say what kind of monster are you, you kind of have to like sit yourself down and be like, did you just turn into a demon? Or is this how you have always been and you've been covering this up the whole time? How do you sleep at night and you behave like this? How do you function and still call yourself a Christian and you're behaving like this, right? So a lot of the times, like I said, you start to see somebody's true colors, right? So I was trying to hide this so bad, but I was like, this needs to come out because this is disgusting, right? So my biological father he lives in New Jersey. My stepfather, who my mom was married to before she died, is who I'm going to talk about right now, right? So their relationship had ups and downs, typical of married couples. Was I really fond of him? No, but I respected him because of the fact that this is who my mother chose to be with for the rest of her life. This is who she chose to love. This is the person that she chose to be with now and forever. So as a daughter, I had to respect that. And I said, you know what? This is what she wants. I'm not going to act funny. I'm going to treat this man like he's the best thing since sliced bread. And this is how I had trained myself to move through life with this man, because deep down, no, right? And I kept it covered for so long because I was like, I don't want to lose my mother. This was my mind frame. I don't want to lose my mother, was my mindset at 14 years old. I was like, yo, if I tell my mother how I feel about this man that she chose to love, I might lose my mom, so I'm not going to open my mouth. But I'm telling you now, if you are 13, 14 years old, 12 years old, 11 years old, and you do not feel comfortable around your stepfather, you need to tell your mother. Because what's going to happen to you, what's going to happen to me, what happened to you? Let me explain. As soon as my mom died, my mommy died April 3rd. I didn't find out until April 4th. Found him in the hospital. I had to call different hospitals to see what was happening. Why is my mother not in a hospital bed? Why didn't anybody call me? What's going on, this, that, and the third? But anyway, fast forward, I found him. Drove to West Palm Beach, got to his hospital room. I'm seeing he has a bunch of broken bones. He's on a ventilator. I'm like, what in the hell happens? And where is my mother? Asking the nurses, they're like, oh, we can't tell you. You got to call the cops. You got to call the police precinct. Whole thing. Fast forward to him, right? Mommy died April 3rd. I didn't find out until April 4th. April, I want to say it was the 9th or the 10th of April. He sat up in the hospital bed and he said, you need to call your mother's job so that we can get her 401k. I'm still in shock because you know what I'm doing? I'm sitting here, and like I said before in my previous video, his health insurance had expired. He had no health insurance. Doctors are calling me left and right. He has 4 kids, but I'm doing everything. I'm trying to get you health insurance, finish up the surgeries that you're supposed to have because you have 2 broken legs, your spine is fractured, you have a clot in your leg. What? You want me to call my mother's job so that we can get her 401k? Again, because I'm still in shock, it's not registering to me. So I said, okay, cool. I go, one doctor comes in and he's like, hey, I'm the neurologist. We're trying to get him back into shape with his hands because we notice his coordination is off. Another doctor comes in, hey, we need your consent to be able for him to have another surgery. He needs an IBC filter. We have to go back into this leg because we have to put a metal fragment in his leg to be able to keep his leg together. I'm signing all these documents so that you can get the help that you need. And the first thing on your mind, 6 days after your wife is dead, aka my mother, I gotta call her 401k, call her job. First red flag. I didn't even tell anybody because I was like, that's not important right now. What's important is I need to bury. My mother wasn't even buried yet. We didn't bury her until the 14th or the 15th of April because we had to wait for family to get down, figure out who's doing what. Are we cremating her? Do we want a regular funeral service? This is the 9th or the 10th. Mommy's not buried yet. And you So I said, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to sign this paperwork because off bat, I already knew not to trust him. I need you to sign this paperwork so that you are allowing me to be her next of kin. Because if you're not aware, if your parent dies and they are married to somebody else, that parent is their next of kin, not you, their biological daughter, per law, or at least here in Florida is what I was informed, right? So I said, because I don't trust him and this is what's happening right now, let me get it notarized that you are allowing me to be my mother's next of kin and you're allowing me to be able to bury my mother while you're here in the hospital recovering and my family is coming down to Florida. Okay, because again, I'm the only child. I'm my mother's only child. My family's coming down to Florida and we're going to stay at mommy's house because everything is just much easier to do. The funeral home is 15 minutes away from the house. The hospital is 15 minutes away from the house. Everything is much easier to do because mommy's house is closer. It doesn't make sense for everybody to stay at my house because my house is an hour away from West Palm Beach. It does not make sense. I need you to sign these 2 documents. And then on top of that, I made a notarizer come in so that he understood what the documents were saying and there was a witness. First red flag. Second red flag. family goes. Everybody goes back to New York. All of my family lives in New York. Everybody goes back to New York. I'm told that, hey, your mother's bank accounts, you have to do the probate information, this, that, and the third. I went to him to the house and I said, are you okay with me doing my mommy's probate? Yes. Are you okay with me being mommy's estate? Yes. Okay, boom. Let's get a letter signed saying that you okay with me being mommy's estate / administration or whatever that is called. He said, yeah. So the lady came over. Lady asked him, are you okay with her being her mother's estate so that she can push paperwork forward and that we can start getting what's needed so that we can get a lawyer and start going to trial with a jury to figure out why this woman killed my mom and hit you as well, and what needs to be done. What are the consequences for killing a person in the middle of the road, right? My mother. Yes, absolutely. You can do everything, Dana. I trust you, this, that, and the third. I said, okay, cool. Sign here. I'm going to sign underneath you. Let's get it notarized. That was done. So I'm going back and forth to the court. The judge is like, yes, you can be your mother's estate. Just make sure that you have all the documents in hand as to what her estate exactly compiles of. So I said, okay, cool. Went back to the house. Been going back and forth to the house, right? Now, the court is 10 minutes away from my mother's house in West Palm Beach. So I said, okay, boom, going back and forth to the house, going back and forth to the house. One time I go back to the house is like after me going back and forth to my mother's house by myself. Getting documents for her, getting documents for him because he needs health insurance, this, that, and the third. Setting things up for him. Doctors is calling me, hey, he needs home health, he needs physical therapy, he needs a home health aid. We need to set this up. We don't have a payment. He also needs to go to rehab, but we need the funds to be able to do so. I said, I don't have the funds, but I'm trying to get him. All these things are going on, right? So, the judge sends a reply back and she says, I need proof of your mother's bank account. So I said, boom, okay, I could go to the house. I could go get that. I'm like, y'all, I'm fighting to get my key in the door. I cannot open the door. I remember calling my uncle and I said, my mommy's door is locked. And he's like, what do you mean? And I said, my mother's doors are locked. And he said, no, Dane, stop playing. Like, there's no way. And I said, I can't get in and I have to pee. Uncle, I can't get in. Just go to your stepfather. There's an explanation for this. Because the uncle that I called, he's the reasoning uncle. You have the reasoning person in the family. So you're like, maybe he's right. So he said, just drive to your stepfather. Because at this time he was out, right? And their doctor had said that he needs to stay with somebody that's going to watch him 24/7. I said, that can't be me because I still have to work. I'm not rich. So his brother had volunteered. So he's staying with the brother. So I said, okay, I'm going to drive to the brother's house. That's where he's at. Go. And I said, hey, the door is locked. Is there a reason why mommy's door is locked? Is there a reason why the locks were changed? Oh, yeah, I had to change the locks because, when your family left, they stole some things from the house. They stole what from the house? Start labeling that. Well, I want to let you know they stole the vase from the floor. What vase from the floor? What vase from the floor? I'm just telling you what they stole. They stole it, and I just don't want nobody to be coming in and out of the house thinking that they can come in and out of the house whenever they want to. I said, but that doesn't make any sense because they live in New York. Nobody's gonna waste a flight to come down here to break into mommy's house. Doesn't make sense. Yeah, well, I'm just telling you. And you keep saying your mother's house. No, it's me and your mother's house. And I said, but I've been going to the house ever since you've been in the hospital the whole month, making sure everything's okay with the house. I'm not understanding where this is coming from. And he goes, well, are you still going to come to the house when I move back in? I was like, second red flag. Third red flag. I decided to get my mom's name tattooed on my hand. This is it right here, right? It says Carmen. It is a peacock feather. And then one of the feathers, let me move this. One of the feathers goes off into becoming a dove, and then sprouts off into heaven. It was June 3rd. So my mom died April 3rd. My birthday was May 3rd. June 3rd. We're in June 3rd is when I got this tattoo. So I'm looking at my phone. My boyfriend is with me. And I'm looking at my phone. I'm seeing my stepdad. He called me 5 times. I said, what? So in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, he probably passed away. And that is his brother calling me to tell me that something happened to him. So I hand my boyfriend my phone and I said, I'm not ready to accept any more bad news. I can't handle this right now. I cannot handle this right now. So my boyfriend's like, okay, we'll just wait a little bit. So I said, all right. Then I see all my uncles calling me. I have 4 uncles. I'm lying. I have 4 uncles. 2 uncles were calling me back to back to back. So I said, yeah, he really died. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to answer the phone. So I answer. I said, hey, uncle, what's up? He goes, Dana, where are you right now? I said, I'm out. What's up? Because I'm expecting to hear he passed away. My uncle goes, I need you to go get all of your documents that you have been used and his medications, all these things. I need you to get all of those documents. And I need you to bring them to him right now. I said, but why? He goes, he just called me and said that he's going to call the cops on you. For what? He's claiming that you stole all of his paperwork and you're trying to steal the deeds to the house. It's only been 2 months. My mother's only been dead 2 months. I'm trying to steal what? Probate court is still happening. I don't have the letter of estate yet. I can't. What? And even if I had letter of estate and I was made my mother's full estate, the houses has his name and my mother's name on it. What are we saying here? Dana, baby girl, just go and bring them. My other uncle calls me. He goes, yeah. He called and he's ready to call the cops on you. Whatever you're doing, just go and bring him his paperwork and call it a day. I said, cool, no problem. Now, I'm at the tattoo parlor. I'm crying and finishing up my tattoo. I'm crying, I'm bawling. I'm like, I don't understand what I did to this man. It's just everything piling up. 3rd red flag. 4th red flag. Matter of fact, before we get to the 4th one, I bring him all his paperwork and I say, hey, I'm completely done. Your insurance is set up. Your rehab is set up. Your home health aid is set up. Your physical therapy is set up. Your occupational therapy is set up. I set everything up for you. I'm done. Because if you think I am going to let you ruin my life and my nursing license because you're having a moment of what the fuck, I'm not going to have it. I don't understand why you have all my paperwork. I said, but you expect for me to handle that if I don't have your paperwork? If I don't have your license? If I don't have your social security to fax it over to the insurance people? If I don't have these things, how can I have that set up? I just don't understand. I said, okay, no problem. You won't have to understand no more. Here's all your things. Good night. And you're on your own from now on. 4th red flag. This was before I completely cut him off. 4th red flag. He hits me up a Saturday morning. I'll never forget. It was like 9:30, 9 a.m. I picked up the phone. I said, hello? Because he never calls me that early, first of all. I said, hello, hey, what's up? He goes, hey, somebody stole money from my bank account. They stole $4,000 from me. I said, okay, just reminding you, you made me your power of attorney so I can look in your bank account and see where it went. Are you allowing me to do this? Yeah, no problem. I just want to know where it went. Okay, cool. I go on, I log on. $2,000 sent to St. Lucia. $2,000 sent to Grenada, MoneyGram. Calling back, I said, hey, I'm in your account. I see $2,000 sent here, $2,000 sent there. He goes, oh, yeah, I remember because I had to send money to the people for the houses in Grenada and St. Lucia. And, now I remember. Oh, I remember. Don't worry, I remember. I said, okay. Now, after I cut him off, which was in June, I had Fashion Week with my clothing line in September. I came back from Fashion Week. I get a call from my lawyer that's doing my mother's case so that we can go to trial to figure out what happens. He calls me. He says, hey, I need you to come to the office. I can't tell you over the phone. We get to the office. Now, West Palm Beach is an hour. I drive an hour out. Homeboy goes, your stepfather is saying that you stole $4,000 from his bank account. I did what? I stole what? And he now says because that you're not talking to him, that he doesn't want you to be your mother's estate. He's also saying that he doesn't want you in court when it's time to go to court to figure out what happened the day that she passed away. I said, and what did you say? And he said, I told him, I said, you cannot keep a child away from her mother's case, number one, because you are your mother's biological daughter. Two, I told him, if he doesn't want you to be stole estate, it has to be co-representative. So we have to send all the documents back to the court, to the judge, for her to rewrite the paperwork so that the two of you are co-representatives. So yes, that's 5 red flags. I do not speak to this man. Yes, a person can turn into a monster after the death of a parent. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So money and property and all that stuff will turn a person into a complete monster. But I want you to understand that it is not your fault. So third reason why you should not commit suicide is because it is not your fault. You did not cause somebody to become a monster. They just became that way because of what was happening. They became that way because of greed. They became that way for whatever reason, because they're either being manipulated by their family or their true colors are finally coming out. It is not your fault. Somebody else's mischievousness is not a reason for you to take your life. It's not. And it's not worth it. Okay? You're not cursed. You're not swimming in a bunch of bad luck. Bad luck is not looking for you. That's not it. You cannot control how somebody else treats you, but you can control what you do thereafter. What did I decide to do? Let go of him completely and let God take care of him. Okay, so can a person turn into a monster after the death of a parent? Absolutely. But it's all how you interpret it. Will it hurt? Absolutely. You can ask my boyfriend, y'all. I cried. I remember coming home one Sunday. I think I had went to the grocery store and I was paralyzed and I just sat on the couch and I cried for like 2 hours. And my boyfriend looked at me. He's like, I understand, babe. And he just went, he cooked me some food and then he took me for ice cream, and he kept saying, Dana, I don't know why all this is happening to you so badly and so quickly. And he's like, I don't even know what to tell you. He's like, all I can tell you is just trust God, right? So that's it, y'all. Stay blessed. Keep your head up. Don't accept the bad as final, because it's never final. Okay? I love you guys. Bye.